Hey everybody, I'm Jason with Fuzzlord Effects, and in this video we're going to be putting together a simple pedal board for doom metal music, and we're only going to use pedals that are affordable and easy to get. So we wanted to put this one together for you to do like a doom metal pedal board on a budget. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around, we're starting right now. So if you're new to the Fuzzlord Effects channel, here we do gear demos and tech talks made specifically for folks interested in doom metal and stoner rock music. So if you're liking this video, be sure you check out some of the other videos on the channel and subscribe to the channel because we put out one video every week. And if you're still wanting to check out more stuff, you can check out fuzzlordeffects.com or head on over to Instagram to the @FuzzlordEffects page, or you can even check out the Fuzz Life podcast. So I appreciate your time. Let's get going on this video. So I've gotten a lot of questions in DMs lately where folks were asking, well, would I put a pedal board together that used easy to find pedals? So that is exactly what we're doing today. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about what pedals I'm using and the effect order and answer some other questions that keep seeming to come up. So today, the first pedal I'm running on my board is my tuner, even though I know what you're thinking and a lot of the other videos I run after all my dirt pedals. This is just for the simple setup that we're doing today. The second pedal we're using today is a Boss DS1. It's one that we haven't featured in the videos before, but I know it's one of those classic pedals that you can find on sale or like at Guitar Center for like 40 bucks. Even though they're a super common pedal and we've all seen them out there, and I know we've all seen one laying on the floor at our buddy's house, they're a really great sounding pedal. A bunch of different famous people have used them, and I guarantee you have listened to songs in the last week somewhere that have had that pedal recorded on it. So the reason I picked the DS1 is because I wanted a straight up classic distortion pedal to go for like the more high on fire or Matt Pike type of sounds, a bunch of other stuff too, but that was my inspiration for that pedal. The next pedal in line is the Behringer SF300 Super Fuzz. That pedal is a clone of the Boss FZ2 Hyper Fuzz, which is a really unique sounding octave fuzz. There's, of course, the Boss version, the FC2, made famous by Electric Wizard and Monolord. Again, the Behringer SF300 you can find used on Reverb, and I believe they're out of stock right now, but when you can find them, these pedals are like 30 bucks shipped to you. The next pedal on the board is a Phase 90 clone. It's a real good sound for like stoner rock music or like the intro riff to Empress Rising from Monolord. I'm not sure if he uses a phaser or a flanger, but they're really similar, and I chose this because they're really easy to come across. My buddy Troy, who some of you have seen in the other videos, built this one. It was a build your own clone kit, but the reason I picked the Phase 90 versus something else is because you can still find them used for like 65 bucks, I believe is what I saw one on reverb.com for today. So that's the old school orange pedal with a nice cursive script. Gives a really nice sound. The last pedal on the board is a Boss DD5. If I had a DD3 around, I'd probably use that. But the DD5 is really similar and just has a couple extra modes. I grabbed that because a delay is kind of good on any pedal board, no matter what kind of music you play, really. And you can find those used, like I see these on Craigslist all the time or on reverb.com. It's just one of those pedals that's been around for a very long time. A lot of people have used them and they work good, they sound good, and they're affordable. So that's why this was chosen. Just to talk a little bit about pedal order, because I keep getting asked about what order do I put my fuzz and my distortion and my boost and all these different things. So let's talk about that a little bit. Traditionally, well actually, I'm glad we're talking about this. I'm glad we're talking about this because I had these two pedals in the backwards order that I wanted. Usually when I'm putting these pedal boards together, I put my fuzzes up front. That's just what I like and what works well for me. And that's not so much about buffers and things like that and what's true bypass and not. It's just that usually when you boost things going into a fuzz, it just kind of gets kind of muddy. So anytime that I'll have like a drive pedal or an overdrive or something, I tend to put those after my fuzzes. So fuzzes up front. After your distortions or your overdrive is when all of your time-based effects are going to come into play. So good rule to follow is that your reverb pedal, if you had one, would be last. And then right before that is usually going to be your delay. And then as far as phasers, flangers, octave pedals like the Pog that I like to use, or any other kind of weird time-based stuff like that, not that the octave's time-based, but I kind of lump it into that category. I always put those after my dirt pedals and before my delay pedal. So if you had more pedals on your board, you might have like your tuner, your fuzzes, your overdrive, distortion, and then would come your phaser, your flanger, your octave pedal, for example, and then your delays, and then your reverbs last, and then out to your amp. So one last thing I wanted to touch on with the order of dirt pedals, because I keep getting asked a lot about people wanting to stack fuzzes and drive pedals and overdrive pedals. The general consensus is, I was talking to Eric Merrow, who's another YouTuber that does gear demos that I know a lot of you are familiar with. And the general consensus was that you want to put your lower gain pedals up front and then your higher gain pedals after them when your goal is to stack. Imagine you were just running a really high gain pedal into a lower gain pedal. Pretty much we're just going to hear this high gain pedal versus, like, let's say that we had lower gain like Tube Screamer overdrive on and we're using that for our bass tone or something, and then we kicked on a Boss DS1 after and just really boosted the signal and got a lot of distortion. Or we could be using that Boss DS1 distortion and getting the high gain sound and then turn on a Tube Screamer or something like that in front of it to boost it even harder. Again, even though it seems counterintuitive because fuzzes are really high gain, I personally like to put my fuzzes up front and then like my overdrives and then my distortion pedals. But I truly encourage all of you, like if you have a DS1, a Tube Screamer, or whatever it is, like your overdrive and distortion pedals, just swap them back and forth. And if you're not sure about how you think they sound, just bust out your iPhone, make a little clip of it and record it and listen back afterwards. Recording little sound clips is something that we do here often to compare audio afterwards in an objective way. So I hope that this was helpful. Again, tuner pedal up front, got the SF300 because I like the fuzzes up front. Boss DS1, a very affordable pedal, got the Phase 90 phaser to fill that kind of sound, and then the Boss DD5. All of these pedals I think you should be able to find for like $100 or less. Definitely a lot less than that if you find it used. And I will leave you with one last tidbit about pedal boards, because a lot of people are kind of wondering, why would you even want a pedal board? And to me, the whole point of a pedal board is that you can put your gear down in a really organized way, Velcro it down or zip tie it, however you do it. And the whole deal for me is I want something that I can pick up, pedal board in one hand, guitar in the other, and I can be mobile and get to a gig or wherever I'm going, throw that on the floor, plug it in, and not be worrying about hooking up all these pedals. I've definitely done it in the past where I put them on the floor, or I show up with a bag full of patch cables, and I'll tell you, it just gets fucked really fast. Gets fucked really fast. That's the quote of the day. I appreciate everyone watching. Why don't you leave me a comment below and let me know, if you were gonna add one single pedal to this board, what would it be and why? I always wanna know where you're watching from, and maybe just tell me an album that you've listened to lately that you enjoy. So let's get going. We're gonna play a couple riffs, check out how these sound, and then we'll catch up at the end of the video and wrap it up and let you know about some things that are going on here at the Fuzzlord shop. So again, I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and leave me a comment below. Just like I mentioned before, let me know where you're watching from. If you were gonna add a pedal to this board, what would it be? And I wanted to ask you, everyone, one more question. I was thinking about doing a podcast episode for the Fuzz Life podcast, but you haven't checked it out yet. Recently, I interviewed Steve Reese from Does It Doom. I interviewed Eric Marrow, asking him about some gear demo stuff and audio recording. But what I wanted to know is, would you all be interested in a episode, the Fuzz Life podcast episode, about 5 ways that you can grow your band on social media? And I say band because it's just kind of a generic thing, but like whether you're a band, an artist, a poet, a pedal builder, a guitar builder, someone running a guitar shop, whatever it is, your creative endeavor that you're trying to pursue and like this goal you're trying to like get to in life, I really believe that we're living in a time right now that it's just so easy to get our message out there. So I literally have 5 things that I've been thinking about that would cost you $0. It has nothing to do with running sponsored ads and things like that. It just has to do with like how to provide interesting things to watch and keep the viewer in mind. Because at the end of the day, me, it's like I just want to be entertained and watch some fun stuff. That's why I watch the YouTube channels that I do. And I think that's why a lot of people like to hang out here, is because we get to talk, interact in the comments, and I truly want to make videos that are interesting to you. So let me know what you think of that below. And Eric and I have also been talking about doing some like field trips, like to guitar shops or local builders and stuff. So if that's interesting to you, let me know below. And otherwise, I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out on the Fuzzlord Effects YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing you next week or talking to you on the Fuzz Life podcast.